Welcome to another great CEO podcast. We have with us today Kerry Siggins of StoneAge Tools. Welcome, Kerry.
Thank you, Jim. Glad to be here.
Nice to have you. So we're going to ask 8 questions. First, tell us a little bit about you and what your company does.
Sure. So I'm Kerry Siggins. I've been CEO of StoneAge for 13 years, been with the company for 15. And StoneAge manufactures high pressure water jetting equipment. So think squirt guns on steroids. And our products are used in the world's dirtiest places, cleaning refineries, chemical plants, food processing plants, anywhere you'd use ultra high pressure water to clean.
Awesome. Cool. So high pressure water doesn't seem that complex. Like anybody could do it. So why you guys? I mean, what causes you to win? What's your competitive advantage?
Sure. Well, there's actually a lot of physics that go behind what we do. And the 2 founders started the company 42 years ago, and they actually developed the very first self-rotating nozzle where just the pressure and the flow of the water caused the tool to rotate, which is a game changer. Imagine, a straight stream of water versus a rotating jet. And that's what the company was built on. And now where we are taking it is we're really transitioning into a technology company. So we just released our first IoT enabled robot that actually removes the person away from the application being cleaned. And now this machine feeds hoses and position itself on in front of whatever application is cleaning, and then is collecting data about how fast and how well it's being cleaned. So we're in a very niche industry, but we're very much a technologically advanced company.
Awesome. Seems like there's some critical applications where that would make a difference. Pharma, nuclear, a couple of others would really, really want to know what was it before, what was it after, and how do you know, right?
Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
That's great. So it's equipment sales. What percentage of the revenue recurs every year? Do you have sort of a subscription model of any element, or is it sort of sell it, maintenance, training, see you later? What's the model look like?
Yeah, so we're just transitioning into a recurring business model now. Before it was definitely widget sales, and a couple of years ago, we knew we wanted to transition from that wasn't going to be. We wanted to really create a lot more value for our customers, for our employees, and ultimately for the company. So now we are selling our data, our software platform on a subscription basis. And we also have training on a subscription basis. So it's a very small percentage of our revenue right now. We're just getting started, but we imagine that, within the next 5 years, it'll be 25% of our business. That's the goal we've set for ourselves.
Look, I mean, anything above 0 and improving it every year is a win, right? So
exactly.
Cool. So one of the concepts we talk about at the CEO project is the point of constraint. And if we open up the point of constraint, we can make the business better. So what is the point of constraint in your business? The one thing, if I had a magic wand, I would change in the business.
Yeah, it's really an old school industry. And so as we are developing this new technology, we are really having to pull people along. Now, we sell to industrial cleaning contractors who have contracts at these big, huge multinational facilities. And there's a pretty big disconnect between the equipment manufacturer, which is the product really doing the work, the labor provider, the contractor, and then the asset owner who really cares, how well is this being cleaned, because this is important for my overall productivity. And so the biggest constraint that we have is that there's a lot of information flow and education that has to happen along that chain. And so how do we speed that up? And that's one of the things that we're really working on, but it's caused slower adoption of automation within our industry because of that disconnect.
Interesting. It feels like if an equipment owner was going to they'd buy it on their own account for all the good reasons you've got, but a labor provider, contractor might say, I'm going to go with something cheaper and I'll throw labor at it. So you got this, it's like pull through demand, almost like a supermarket, right?
Exactly.
You want a consumer saying, I got to have this.
Yeah. And the issue is that contractors bill by the hour. And so they're very resistant, right, to technology that can do it faster because they're going to have to change their pricing model, their business model of how they add value to that plant. And so they're in that messiness right now of trying to figure out, hey, this equipment's more expensive and I need to charge either more per hour or go with more of an outcomes-based pricing model.
Got it. This is the slowest talking lawyer in town because they're billing by the hour. So
exactly.
So speaking of hours, how many hours a week do you work? And then sort of where do you allocate those hours in the business?
Yeah, I work probably between 50 and 60 hours a week.
About average for CEOs, by the way.
Yeah. I try not to work much more than 60 hours a week because I live in Durango, Colorado, and it's a beautiful place. And I love to mountain bike, and I have a 8-year-old son who I love to spend time with too. But I really allocate it on, I would say, probably in 4 main buckets. Ensuring strategy execution.
Yep.
We have a very disciplined process that we go through, a commitments process. And I work a lot on strategy. Another main bucket is building my team. I'm a big people developer, and they're the future of this company, not me. And so I spend a lot of time on making sure that they understand what their goals are, what the expectations are, that they have everything that they need to do with their job. Talking through issues so that they can then go and lead their teams more effectively.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot on building the brand. That's kind of my another 4th main bucket, whether that's StoneAge or my thought leadership. And so I do a lot of writing for publications, a lot of speaking in the industry around technology advancement, employee ownership for employee and company, and then really how leaders need to change the world. And then the rest of my time is just doing like ad hoc things that will come up, right? We've, it's budgeting time. And so reviewing budgets and things like that, that just come up on the day-to-day stuff. But I try to spend most of my time in those other 3 areas.
Got it. No, they're more high leverage, I think. Yeah.
Exactly.
So name one major responsibility that you've delegated and lost responsibility for in the last 6 months. And this is sort of as you grow, the CEO has to go up. So you've got to be shedding. So tell me one of those.
Yeah, a lot. The pandemic has been very good. So I starting in this company at 28 when we were 8 million in revenue and growing it to where we have now, I was very hands-on in everything. And I have a big personality. And so, I had my fingerprints on everything. And the pandemic really working from home really allowed me to step back and have my team lead those more of those initiatives without people deferring to me, I should say. So the biggest thing that I'm right now that has just happened recently is I've always led the strategic planning process, and I've delegated that to my director of customer experience.
Wow.
And it is so much better. Number one, I get to participate instead of doing a lot of the prep work and leading. And 2, she's just more organized and is better at building that framework for me. I'm that visionary, disruptive person. And she's much more like, hey, this is the process. We're going to follow it. And it's so much better. And it's been better for everybody.
Awesome.
So it's been great.
Very cool. No, that's a good one. I would say strategic development can't be delegated, but the process of developing strategy can be, right? It's different.
The process, right? Yeah. I'm in there with this is the vision, but she's leading the whole framework.
Nice.
And it's much better than the way I've ever done it.
Cool. And then give me 1 or 2 things you've learned that are sort of central to your CEO approach.
Listen more than talk. I have my superpower is getting people to tell me things and
to be a therapist.
Oh God. I've gone there before. I used to have a couch in my office.
CEOs are partially therapists, right?
I know, right? I had a couch in my office, but I got rid of it. Yeah. So really asking those powerful questions and then listening and listening for understanding, listening for the nuances. I've really developed that a lot more. So talking less, listening better, and asking those really powerful questions that get people to open up and feel safe. Cool. And then the next piece is setting the stage for disruption. Being in an old school industry and being a technology company, growing into a technology company, it's really about that vision and helping everybody understand, like, this is the vision and this this is where we're going. And this is why it's going to be disruptive so that people understand when we make bold moves or make certain decisions, it's in alignment with where that vision really is. So kind of the people thing, and then, the strategy piece.
The change is hard though, right? Because people will do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. So even if you say it's going to be better, they go, sounds like pain to me. I don't want to do it. Right.
Oh yeah. For sure.
And last question. What do you do for fun?
Oh, I love fun. I'm a fun person. So although maybe people don't share my idea of fun, I am very big into the outdoors. So mountain biking, skiing, running. I'm an avid reader. I love to read. So I'm constantly have an audiobook or, a book next to my bed. And then cooking. Cooking is like my tangible creative thing that I get to do. So I cook dinner for my family every single night that I'm home, which I've been home a lot more than I certainly have been the previous 12 years of my career here. And so I love to cook.
Nice. Well, wonderful. Kerry, thank you so much. This was a great interview. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.